Hi guys, another video from Nursing Home Resident. This one's going to be about NHS prisoner cell block H, as I call it. This is a video about where your loved ones and your grandparents who are too old to stay at home and no one to look after them, so they're waiting to go into nursing homes or waiting to go back home with care or whatever they go to, or when you get discharged from hospital and you've got nowhere else to go, you're waiting for a care package to be put in place. You get sent to this prisoner cell block H. Because I know, because I've been there. I've been there. So all I'm doing is my account. This is my account of NHS prisoner cell block H. So 2017, I went into hospital for a few weeks because of, again, it was a milder case of what I had in 2015. I was discharged from hospital but unable to go back home because I needed a care package set up because of not looking after myself properly and getting bed sores and stuff like that because of being in bed all the time. So you get discharged from the hospital and they wheel your bed through the whole hospital, depending where your ward is, out the set of double doors into the open air, across the road, down and around the corner, and in through a set of double doors, which I called cell block H. Because to me, my recollection is like a warehouse or cell block with like individual rooms going all the way around the room, around the block. So I was first put in the first room or cell of like, it was room for 4 beds, but there's only 2 of us in there. There was me and another guy. He was by that, I was by the open side where as you first come in, and he was in the room by the window looking out. He could look out onto the main road, or if he could get out of bed, he could look out on the main road. And then there was like 2 empty beds the other side, and then down from there was another like a 4 or 6 block set of beds, and down from that was another 4 or 6 block of beds, going all the way around the big room with a central desk with like nurses, reception, or nurses and like receptionists, like people doing paperwork and whatever in the centre, and it was all like open around, and like, so they could basically see into each cell or into each ward or into each, I call it prisoner cell block H, so I'm going to say cell. And if they see, they can, if they're alarm, they can get straight to it. So there's me in this thing, and the guy next to me is always pressing his button for the nurse about something, shouting and screaming at the nursing staff. So they stop coming and ignore him because of the foul languages thing. So I've got an oxygen mask on because they've tested me. One morning, every morning you get up, they test everything. They put a thing on your finger for your oxygen levels, and mine was low, so they give me oxygen for an hour to falsify the. And then do it again. If the oxygen level's up, they can write it in their book then. So I was on oxygen, in bed, not very well. I was a bit poorly still, even though I was waiting to go home under care. So I just said, look, if you stop pressing your bell and every so often swearing and shouting at the nurses, they would probably come. So he said, well, you count me then. He said, I want to go to the toilet. I need a toilet. Why ain't you helping me? I said, because I'm in the same boat as you. They've already told you you've got a catheter on. You know, I haven't, because I use urine bottles, so I don't, you know, that's another thing why I don't have a catheter, but I'm not saying you to you. So this goes on for days. I've been there, you know, anyway. So he decides one morning, then he gets me confused with a doctor, and he thinks I'm just laid on this bed next to him, having a sleep, like, you know, like a, you know, because like he's like tired, and you know, so he chucks his hot cup of tea over me. So I press my buzzer, and they come, because I'm pressing it, not him, and tell them that he's chucked his tea over me. I need my bed changing. So I get off out of bed and sit on the chair beside the bed. And the nurse is apologising and saying, oh, so-and-so, you're not allowed to do that, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, no one, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, no one was coming, he wasn't helping me. I said, and they said, he's not meant to help you, he's a patient just like you. The next day, same thing happened again. He was calling, they weren't coming for him. So he picked up his urine sack, or whatever, you know, it's like hanging on the side of your bed. They haven't emptied his urine thing, and chucks it across the room. And he chucks it at me, so I'm covered in his pee now. It's not covered, I shouldn't say covered, but I've got his pee on me, on my skin, on the bed. It's leaking out the bag. So I stand the bag upright and press my buzzer. Yeah, so I'm holding his urine back thing, and now he's the nurse looked at me and went, I said, he's just chucked this at me, I think you need this. So I handed it to the nurse, and she apologised. I said, don't worry about it, don't worry, because I've got a spare pillow under my bed ready for tonight, so I'm going to put smother in it, so I won't have a problem tomorrow morning. And I looked at her, and she looked at me, and I said, I'm only joking. And they moved me. So yeah, they moved me to a different cell. The different, like, part of the, you know, I think I moved 2 places down. You could still hear him moaning, but I was in a different room, different part of this big massive room thing. So well, unbeknownst to me, the person in the next bed to me was a screamer. So I've been in this holding cell kind of area for like 2 weeks now, and you know, seeing people go, and seeing people go, and you know, to either going into a nursing home or into care homes or a residential home, or going back to their home with, you know, they was getting wheeled out, you know, ambulance was coming, ambulance crews was getting them either on a bed or on a wheelchair, mainly on a wheelchair, you know, and it's all open, so if anybody passes away in there, you know, you see everything. And if you're in the same area, you see them loading the person into the, well, they don't even do that. It's basically, they put a frame over the body, or over the bed, yeah, like little rails and with curtains on. So they lift it up onto the bed, and the curtains it's like a box over the bed, and wheel the bed out. Yeah, and they put it in. They obviously move them into a hallway away from other patients. Yeah, and then obviously someone then collects them from this hallway. Wow. Like an ambulance crew come for a lady who, and then another ambulance crew come for someone. I can't remember if it was a lady or a gentleman. She was in a chair. She was in a chair, and someone was on a bed. They was really, going to transfer him onto their home, wherever they was going to. I don't know where they go to. If you know what I mean. There was like a queue. Well, it was a queue because it had outside there was a queue of cars, and the ambulance was parked. Where it was parked, it was like they couldn't get out. So they wasn't loading anybody on the ambulances until they could move the first ambulance out. But the problem is, where we was put was basically in a corridor with the same place as the people who passed away. So you can just imagine your little old nan or your granddad or your parents or whoever sitting all in a wheelchair waiting to either go home or go into a nursing home or go into a residential care home, and you've got a person who has sadly passed away waiting to be transported to wherever they get transported to, next to them, waiting, because we was all blocked. The whole grid, it was like gridlocked because it was so busy. And I just thought I'd give you a little insight into what happens when you get discharged from hospital, but you got nowhere to go. Like, I was lucky that I was going home, and I was not going into at that time. I was going home to a care team, and I was lucky. God, my heart goes out to the I don't mean to put bad things, but you've got to realise what happens when your loved ones are in hospital and they're going to get discharged from hospital. And, literally, I was on a bed, or a hospital, an ambulance trolley going home, after, first getting by a person effing and jeffing, getting hot tea poured over me, getting urine poured over me by him, moving then and spending a week by a screamer. At night he would score, dementia. I'm not blaming them at all. This is not a negative thing. What I'm trying to put across is, you need to visit your parents or your loved ones more often when they're in hospital, because what they put up with, I at that time, well, it was 2017, so it was 18 years ago. So, I was mid to late 30s, or in my 30s, I don't know, I don't know, I can't even, but, but I'm talking, the older generation, mainly there was the older generation there, waiting to go home or into residential care, sitting next to a person who had sadly passed away, Yeah, waiting for them to get sent away, if you know what I mean. You know, waiting for the undertaker to come and collect them. So, you know, they could at least give us a cup of tea. Because, you know, we all know cups of tea can heal everything. So, yeah, drink tea, keep on smiling. Thanks very much for listening. I know it's only a short one, and I passed over a few things, but I didn't want to, you know, there was a couple of things that happened there which was really bad, but I didn't want to make too much of a bad thing, and I didn't want to get upset myself, so so yeah, bye bye, drink tea, makes you happy.